On the rear sway bar, and these are linkages here, both sides. I think they're 14 mil. I'm going to use an open and or a ring spanner on the top, and I use a ratchet on the bottom. But first of all, I'm going to give it a spray with Inox, just a penetrating lube, before I try and get under here and do this job. I'm not getting underneath here for brush, trying to clean up these threads first. Just to be honest, I don't think I need to, and just be a pain in the butt to do it. And let's give it a good soak before I start. Now the problem is, the reason why I'm doing this, the bushings on the diff itself flex. I'll try and show you that. Now I'm hoping that I got a good angle on the camera, because laying down and trying to have the camera almost to the ground that I can't see the screen, it's hard to know what I'm filming. But so there's the bushings here. I'm going to spray them as well. I think they're 12 and the other ones are 14. I'll take all three sizes, like 12, 13, 14 underneath here with me, just so I'm not getting any out of the car from underneath the car. But if you can see, I can flex that. Definitely needs replacing. And you can hear that. As you can imagine how much louder it is when driving. The sway bar itself, mine is 23 mil thick. The standard size is 19 mil from what I was seeing online, but they could be anything. So you need to measure your sway bar first before ordering the bushings, because they could be anywhere from 17 to 24 mil thick. And so when I found them online, they were 19 mil. So I sent a message to the people who sell the bushings, and they said that the bushings that I was looking at aren't the right ones, and that they gave me the number for the correct ones, and that's the ones I ordered. Unfortunately, I already threw out the packaging when I took the bushings out, and I can't show you what the number was. See if I can give you a side view, possibly. So you can see that. Definitely needs replacing. And I'll go a little bit off topic for a minute. Those who know, I did the diff oil change not long ago. It's a little bit glossy around the front here, but there's no physical oil drips, and there's nothing anywhere else. So I don't know. For those who remember, there was oil around this area here on both sides, and you know, the oil from the front here was all the way back here. You could see that it was all, or had oil there, but or somehow got oil onto it, and I thought maybe the main seal there. Now I'm not totally convinced that the main seal is 100%, but it's not bad enough to change yet. So I'm just gonna keep an eye on it, and yeah, if it needs changing, then I'll change it. Well, first of all, I'm gonna remove these linkages, and just so the sway bar itself is loose, no stress on it, and then I can take off the other bushings, replace them. Got the spanner on the top there. It's the 14 mil nuts. Got a spanner on the top. I'm gonna undo it from the bottom. Now I really don't know if the shaft is going to turn and then the top one will come off, or if the bottom nut will come off first, or what's going to happen there. But I'll do a double nut lock on the bottom if the bottom one comes off and not the top one, because that's just going to be too challenging to try and turn in that smaller gap. So I'll do it from the bottom. Okay, so that's good. That made life a little bit easier. I don't know how the other side will go yet, but now I can get a vice grips on the center here, hold that, lock it in place, and then I can undo that bottom nut. Alright. I might have to use the spanner for the first crack on that. It's a great little tool, that, but it's not strong enough for the bigger jobs. Alrighty. That's one side. Seen worse. Okay, the other side came off exactly the same. But what I was trying to talk about, and those who know, if I couldn't get that top one undone, I could have got a spanner here and spent forever turning the bottom of this linkage here, and so the top nut slowly comes off. But double locking a nut here and then undoing it would have turned the whole shaft and would have made the job a lot easier. So double locking, if you don't know, you got two nuts on there, and you lock them into each other, and then you just turn the bottom one. Get this off. And the other side, lift that up. Take that out. Too easy. Remove these bushings here. So I'm just going to loosen them 12 mil. Let's loosen them up a little bit first. I'm not going to take it all the way off. I do want to be able to rest somewhere in it without falling down. Okay, now I'm ready to take the off the rest of the way. Other side, just undoing the nut without moving the camera. I'll just explain. Take that plate away. Now it looks the same as this. Take the sway bar out. Just gotta find the happy place for it. Oh shit, should have worn glasses. I'll try and show you putting that back in if I can, but basically, I don't know if the camera's going to catch me doing this, but I'll try to explain. Basically, just weave it out, like just turn the sway bar coming out. I came out this way, but could go out either way. I just thought it would be easy to move away from the exhaust than towards it. And yeah, all I'll do is just got it on an angle and then just kind of like turned it out and it came out. But I don't know if I'll be able to get the camera angle I want to see me putting it back in, but I'll try. So just showing the bushing here. It's pretty old. I have to clean this up, but it's not rusted or anything. Now I have in the past, in my youth, just got a bit of drive belt, cut it to the length that's going to go around the shaft, pack it in there, and that's done the trick perfectly fine in the past. Now I can't give advice on whether that was the right thing or wrong thing to do, but that's what worked for me many years ago. But these days I try to do things properly. So well, where I can. If I can't, then I modify. But anyway, okay, I'm pretty sure someone's out there's going to say you don't need to take the sway bar out. I know that. I could have just left that in there, changed the bushings, bolted it all back together, job's done. But I wanted to give this a clean first, possibly a paint, before I put it back under. So that's why I'm going the extra step of taking the sway bar out. But if you don't want to, you just want to change the bushings and everything, you could have left the bar in, just replace the bushings, bolt it back up. Okay, so that's the new bushing on there. Now, sorry if the camera's a bit wobbly here. I'll fix that up. So that's the new bushing that's on there now. So when that's on there and tighten up, that's going to squeeze tight. Now, I'll give you as a quick clip of why I chose to go with Nolathane bushings instead of the original rubber ones.
Softer, but stronger. Up the numbers on the load bearing. That's the capability for the Nolathane product to take the load. Tensile strength. In many applications in a car, not only is the Nolathane product under compression, it's trying to tear itself apart. That's the tensile strength that's required. Amount of flexibility, and with flexibility you also need memory. So when something twists and contorts in situ, it also needs to be able to go back into its original place. Abrasion resistance. Well, you could only imagine the torture that some of these components get in their application on a road car. Chemical resistance. In the environment that these applications are in on your car, they can be around sometimes oil and lubricants, road grime, even exhaust gas, which will break them down over time. Rubber is very susceptible to it. These guys aren't. lubrication management. And see right inside there, there's a knurling that they put in there. So when you put lubricant in there, as you should, the lubricant can sit within that knurling and maintain lubrication. But what's more important is the grease retention, because it sits in those pockets really nicely. Now, the other thing they do is have this nice little lip around here. It's ever so subtly raised so it doesn't impact on the working surface of the bush, but it helps both retain the grease more efficiently, and it helps to prevent grit going in there, which is a bush killer.
And when I was looking online, the original rubber ones were the same price as the Nolathane, but the Nolathane life lasting, just go with the better quality, better engineered bushing. While the linkage parts are busy soaking in degreaser, I'll give them a bit of a scrub and clean later. I'm not going to paint them. So yeah, I've had to give this a wash, then I gave it a scrub with a wire brush, then another wash, and then I wiped over it with thinners before painting it, and now that's come up. It's going to look good underneath the car. I know no one else ever looks under the car, but when I go under the car, it's just a self-pride thing. On the invoice it shows the part number that I used for the bushings there, and the sway bar linkages say 421024 would be the part number for if you've got a 23mm thick sway bar. Then putting the sway bar back in. Obviously I'm on ramp, I didn't mention that earlier. Just work it around, easy as that. Putting this bushing on, put a bit of grease in there that comes with the kit. Be generous, you got more than enough to do the job. Doesn't matter which way you put it on. If you didn't use the grease, then what's going to happen is when you're going over bumps, you're going to hear a squeaking noise. The reason why I'm not tightening those up all the way yet is because the sway bar might go this way or that way when connecting up these. And I did a bright spark thing. I'll be able to get away with moving it over a little bit. No, I can't. Alright, I was a bit of a bright spark here. I'm going to take it back off. The sway bar needs to go on the other side of these mounts here. I wasn't watching that. Okay, now that's ready to go. I'm doing a reverse camera record so I can see the screen of what you're seeing here. Now I don't know what the last video clip got. There must be a limit on when doing recording this way, because you know the camera turned off. Anyway, the bushing's on and it's greased up, and then put the mount back on. I'm like, it's self-explanatory, isn't it? For some reason this side here is harder to get the threads in, but once you get it in it's smooth sailing from there. Now we've getting the bushings on here. I'll bring the camera over. So just working on the bottom one for now. Now you can get a spanner onto that part there. I think it's probably about 10mm to hold the center from turning. The bushing is going to go that side there, goes into the hole. So I want to go like this on that way, and then into there like that. I'm going to put the other bushing on at the same time. So obviously like that, and like that. Let that, actually no, I'll put it half together, won't tighten it just yet. Do that last bushing last on both sides, just so the sway bar can lift up enough for the other side to go on. yourself out. This is the easy part now. Put it back on. Just hold the top. And off you go. Okay, that's it. So now that's tight from top and bottom. So the washers that come with the joints tighten up against a certain point, so you just go tight all the way with them, and that's it. So it's tight on both sides. Tighten these guys up now on both sides. Okay, that's both sides done, and just for good measure, put it right on there. Actually, get that last bit. There you go, sexy. Now I shouldn't have any more knocking in the back of the car. Alrighty, thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers. Now, this would not pass a blue slip inspection if I had to go for a Bluetooth reg inspection. Bluetooth, fucking. But you know, just doing it properly these days. Bloody dog. Fuck me. Forgot where I was at. But you know, if you look it up, you're going to find different millimeter. Wait. No. Mate. Wait. Mate. They just show a couple of short clips. Yeah. In the old days, we used to say, when you can't find the hole, you'd say, put some hair around it. Oh, you son of a bitch.